On behalf of ICN board and the community of Northland. Thank you very much for coming tonight, taking your time off. I hope you will be all benefited from today's session. Thank you very much for coming again. I will ask Khalid sir to come up here and continue the program without any.
Alhamdulillah, to see you all here, and especially our honored guests, both of them. I know our beloved Sheikh Bakir, you all know him, that when he recites Quran, it touches our heart. And inshallah, when you will listen to Ustad Nauman Ali Khan, his message not only touches heart, it touches your brain also. And he is one of the best scholars in the world who interprets the intellectual side of the Quran in the modern day world. So inshallah, we all are looking forward to hear him. So we'll start our program with Sheikh Bakir.
Bismillah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذ قال إبراهيم رب اجعل هذا البلد آمنا واجنبني وبني أن نعبد الأصنام رب إنهن أضللن كثيرا من الناس فمن تبعني فإنه مني ومن عصاني فإنك غفور رحيم ربنا إني أسكنت من ذريتي بواد غير ذي زرع عند بيتك المحرم ربنا ليقيموا الصلاة فاجعل أفئدة من الناس تهوي إليهم وارزقهم من الثمرات لعلهم يشكرون ربنا إنك تعلم ما نخفي وما نعلن وما يخفى على الله من شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء الحمد لله الذي وهب لي على الكبر إسماعيل وإسحاق إن ربي لسميع الدعاء رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب ولا تحسبن الله غافلا عما يعمل الظالمون ولا تحسبن الله غافلا عما يعمل الظالمون إنما يؤخرهم ليوم مهطعين مقنعي رؤوسهم لا يرتد إليهم طرفهم وأفئدتهم هواء وأنذر الناس يوم يأتيهم العذاب فيقول الذين ظلموا ربنا أخرنا إلى أجل فيقول الذين ظلموا ربنا أخرنا إلى أجل قريب نجب دعوتك ونتبع الرسل أولم تكونوا أقسمتم من قبل ما لكم من زوال وسكنتم في مساكن الذين ظلموا أنفسهم وتبين لكم كيف فعلنا بهم وضربنا لكم الأمثال وقد مكروا مكرهم وعند الله مكرهم وإن كان مكرهم لتزول منه الجبال فلا تحسبن الله مخلف وعده رسله إن الله عزيز عزيز ذو انتقام يوم تبدل الأرض غير الأرض والسماوات وبرزوا لله الواحد القهار وترى المجرمين يومئذ مقرنين في الأصفاد سرابيلهم من قطران وتغشى وجوههم النار ليجزي الله كل نفس ما كسبت إن الله سريع الحساب هذا بلاغ للناس ولينذروا به وليعلموا أنما هو إله واحد وليذكر أولو الألباب صدق الله العظيم.
Before our esteemed guest start his lecture, Brother Asher on the ladies' side will have some cards. So if you have any question in your mind you want to ask, we will present it to scholar.
وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Okay, is that better? Yeah. Better? Okay. I'd like to start by saying I'm really happy to be here. Alhamdulillah, it's really nice to see all of you. Inshallah, we'll have a productive evening. I pray Allah accepts it as ibadah for all of us. You guys are obviously, many of you have probably heard me speak on various topics on social media, YouTube, Facebook, whatever else, yes? So as a result of that, you are accustomed to going to sleep listening to my voice. You've done this many thousands of times already in your life. So I don't want to give you a long lecture tonight. What I'd rather do is give you a shorter talk, maybe 20, 25 minutes or so. It's not loud enough? All right. So I'd rather give you a relatively shorter reminder of myself and all of you, inshallah, benefit from that, and then I'd rather take more time hearing from you, taking your questions. The cards that have been passed around are for writing, and if you have the kind of handwriting that is you can't tell if it's Mandarin or English, then you can just speak up and you can just ask your question. So, because, yeah, so it's completely okay if you're, and I'm not going to be offended if your question is off topic, or you want to just ask about something randomly, that's okay. Please don't be offended if I say I don't know. So if I can help you with something, I will try, and if it's beyond my scope of knowledge, then I will simply say I don't know. I have no discomfort in saying that, inshallah. I was going to share with you some ayat of the Quran and some reflections from them today, but as I heard our dear Sheikh Ibrahim recite, I changed my mind, and I decided to talk about the ayat he was reciting. So I'm going to be talking to you about Surah Ibrahim, and this is ayah number 35 onwards. It begins with one variation of the prayer Ibrahim alayhi salam made to Allah. From what we can tell from the clues that are inside this passage, this is a time when Ibrahim alayhi salam has already left his family in Mecca, and he's already also come back. And Mecca has already been founded, it's already a city now. So it already exists. It's not a desert anymore, and it's basically a thriving community. So he has now seen the fulfillment of the trials that Allah put him through. All of that's already come to pass. In fact, even the Kaaba, its construction seems to have already been done. So you know the test that he was given, the test he was given, at the end of all of his tests, he was given the instruction to build Allah's house. From this passage, we can tell that the house construction is already complete also. That's already done too. So this is essentially, you can think of one of the final prayers in the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam. One of the final conversations he's having with Allah that Allah decided to record in the Quran for us. And all this stuff that I'm telling you about how we know it is at this time comes from the clues Allah gives us inside of the passage itself, which I'll allude to in a minute, inshallah. As we go through it, you'll see. So وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّ اجْعَلْ هَذَا الْبَلَدَ آمِنًا. When Ibrahim alayhi salam said to his master, or when he said, my master, make this city or this land safe. This city safe. Now, this is a little bit of a tricky thing, and it doesn't require you to have knowledge of Arabic, but rather focus on the English that I'm going to use, okay? If I say, there's some pieces of wood, right? So the pieces of wood are here. And I tell a carpenter, make this a table. Make this a table. It's easy English, right? Is it a table already or no? No, it's just pieces of wood. But if I said, make this table shiny. If I said, make this table shiny, is the table already there or no? Yes. The table's already there. Okay. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah says, quoting Ibrahim alayhi salam, he's praying to Allah about Makkah. And he says, well, that echo got too dramatic. It sounds like, it's to be pointed out. Okay. So he says, رَبِّ اجْعَلْ هَذَا بَلَدًا آمِنًا, which translates, Master, make this a peaceful city. Make this a peaceful city. Remember the wood? Make this a table? You know what that means? Make this land, which isn't even a city yet, turn it into a city. Not only turn it into a city, turn it into a city that is what? Peaceful. This dua is at a time when the Kaaba was not even built, the city doesn't exist yet, a community doesn't exist yet. It's not a city yet. And how do we know that? Actually, that dua came when Allah had commanded him to build the house along with Ismail. So a community is there, but it's not like full-fledged a city yet. Now years have gone by, and now it's actually a thriving city. It's actually turned into an existing, like an ecosystem of a city. And so in this prayer he says, رَبِّ اجْعَلْ هَذَا الْبَلَدَ آمِنًا. He says, Master, make this city peaceful. Make this land peaceful. So now it's referring to the city as an existing entity. And then adding the term Amina. So now that chronology is known, what is he asking for? For the city to be what? Peaceful. He is at the end of his life. So clearly when he's asking for the peace and security of the city, he's not asking for it for himself. And if you know anything about Ibrahim alayhi salam, he has no problem jumping into a fire, so he doesn't exactly have safety fears. You understand? He's taken on kings ahead of time. He's taken on some of the worst fears a human being will have to face. He's already faced them. So what is his desire for this place? The desire he has for this sacred place is that it should be peaceful, it should be safe. Now let's compare that, because we call ourselves the people of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and everything I tried to share with you today, I want you to compare to our mindset as a Muslim, where it is and where it should be. When you look at a city, the first concern that might come to you is, man, this place should be more Islamic. This place is so haram. This place is so evil. This place is so corrupt. Ibrahim alayhi salam is not asking Allah first, make this place submissive to Allah. Or make this place, make this place a place of worship or obedience. Subdue this city so everyone in the city obeys only you. He doesn't say any of that. Bring the victory of Islam on the city and don't let the kuffar ever come and take over. He didn't ask for any of this. What did he ask for? He asked for the peace of this city. He asked for the peace of this city. What that tells you is something remarkable. And of course, he's asking for the entire city, right? And that city doesn't only have his family, or there are other people living there too. There are other people there too. And there's no guarantee that even the other people that are there are following the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam yet. There's no way to know that. We know his son follows his religion. We know their family follows their religion. We probably know there probably are some other people who follow their religion too. But there's no way to know that the entire city is a city of Muslims. You understand? There's no way to know that. But he still wanted well-being and safety for the entire city. The legacy of Ibrahim alayhi salam that emerges from these ayat is that he wanted that wherever a believer is, they should want safety, security, peace for that place. They don't even want it first for themselves, they want it for the place itself. And notice his words next, وَجْنُبْنِي وَبَنِيَّ أَن نَعْبُدَ الْأَصْنَامَ, and prevent me and my children from worshiping idols. Now think about that. Don't prevent the city from worshiping idols, prevent who? Me and my children. So there's a switch. You guys notice the switch? The first statement was about the entire population. The immediate next statement is not about the entire population. It's about who? It's about him and his offspring. So why doesn't he want Allah to prevent everybody else from worshiping idols? Later on, we'll find in Surah Al-Baqarah, we find وَارْزُقْ أَهْلَهُ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ. Give its citizens all kinds of fruit. Give them fruit. But here, he's saying something very unique. He's saying something profound. He realizes that the only real way, Allah will not force anybody to become a believer. Allah will not, descend some divine intervention and everybody will take shahada. That's not what's going to happen. First thing people need, what they're going to need, is they're going to need safety. They're going to need that. In fact, the Quraysh, many years, thousands of years later, the Quraysh at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, Allah told them, why aren't you believing? I've already given you safety. So if you don't have safety, then you know what happens? If you don't have safety, then people aren't even thinking about faith, they're thinking about surviving. They're in a war zone. How am I going to give da'wah to someone and they've got a gun in their hand and they're waiting for the robbers to come through? Hold on, your khutbah can wait. Right? Because we're not in a safe state. You have to be in some level of calm and harmony and peace and law and order before we can have a conversation about the deen. You understand? And so he asked for that first. And then he realized that Allah has given him a special task. And he's chosen his children especially for a task. That even if they live in a city where there are people that won't be believers necessarily, they are supposed to stand up and be role models. They're supposed to stand out. And people are supposed, just like they found economic and political peace in the city, their spiritual peace will come from this family. They'll have to become a source of that peace. So it's going to be pretty terrible if myself or my children end up in the worship of idols ourselves. We're supposed to be the light in this place. We're supposed to bring something to this. We want good for this place, and we want to be a source of goodness, bringing people towards Allah in this place. So Ya Allah, don't allow me and my children to fall into the